Hello, good evening, Leandro. How do you feel today? Is everything okay?
Yes, everything okay. Good evening.
Great, that's great to know. Let's start then with today's class. We have to start a new unit and we have to work on some elements, all right? So let's do it. You know that you still have today and to finish the first unit. And again, as I'm assigning the second unit now with you, let me know, please, if you have any questions about it, Leandro. Were you able to work on the assignments? Not yet. Do you have any comments or questions? Let me know, please.
No, I don't have questions.
All right. So then I'm going to be assigning, but in the meantime, we're going to learn this new topic. Actually, we're going to review this new topic, and it's going to be past. We're going to have a writing exercise. Okay, we're going to practice some writing, some paragraphs that we're going to write, but let's also practice speaking. All right, and let's talk about past situations. So, what can you tell me? All right, or yes, how can you tell me actually? How can you tell me a story in past? I mean, if I tell you to tell me, right, something that you remember very well that happened in the past for you, how can you tell me that story, Leandro? What do you say? How would you do it?
I don't know. In this carnival, um, I traveled to Cochabamba to see, um, to go to a festival, to the Madness,
Okay.
and that was great. I was that was great. But I don't know. Um, this was very very funny, um very interesting also, I think.
All right.
And then how I say that, there was 3 days of the festival. In the first day, um played Manuel Turizo. In the second fade. In the third day, played um Bizarrap, and that was very very funny, and I passed very well. That's
Okay.
I don't know.
Perfect. Very good. It's great. Okay. I have few observations. In general, it's great because you have to be able to do it and you are able to do it, which is very good. Few details. All right. For example, what is the difference between funny and fun? What do you say?
uh and I don't know. Funny is, and get fun is, no, I don't know. I don't know.
All right. Yes, actually, it's something subtle, but it's very important. Why? Because if you say something funny, for example, comedy movies are funny, right? Comedy movies are funny because you laugh, right? You laugh. But
Mhm.
fun is something entertaining, is when you are
Okay.
entertained and when you have fun, it means that there was a lot of distractions for you, a lot of things to do. It was really entertaining. Okay, so
Okay.
that is fun, something entertaining, and fun is something that makes you laugh more or less. All right, so with that explained, then how can you describe that festival as something fun or something funny?
Both, but I think I think fun is a better description.
Okay, good. Yes, it can be both, right? Because if you're with your friends, you are laughing, right? But in general, I can say, as you're saying, that it can be fun because it's entertaining, and it's entertaining, it can also be funny sometimes, right? So fun is going to be more general, and fun is just going to be related to laughing. But yes, you're right. It can be funny as well. Now that one good, and only also one observation. You said this like in Spanish order, right? You say en played, and then you said the name of the artist, like in Spanish, like tocó este artista. But if you say that in Spanish is good, but in English you cannot say and played, right? For example, and played Bizarrap. It's better if you say and this artist performed on the stage, or this artist played that. Okay, so it's better if you say subject, verb, and complement instead of saying first verb and then the person that or the artist that performed that action. Okay, just that observation there, Leandro. Again, it was good. Now, let's try to complement that idea. For example, if I ask you, how can you answer this question? Who did you go with? Who did you go with?
I went with my friends and my girlfriend.
Good,
Yes.
very good. That's great. That's the right answer. Good. Now, you said it was 3 days, right? And how did you feel in the sense of being tired? Were you able to be there during the 3 days? I mean, celebrating those 3 days, or did you feel tired in the last day or in the last 2 days? What do you say?
In the festival, I don't feel that. It's correct. Feel it.
Good. One more time. You don't feel like tired? That's what you mean?
And like feel, but in past. I don't know
like
if feel
felt.
is felt.
Okay. It will be felt, but if it's negative, you can say I didn't feel, right? So you can say I felt or I didn't feel.
Okay. In the 3 days of the festival, I didn't feel tired, but when I go back, it's correct, or went back?
Went back. Went back.
And when I went back to La Paz, I feel I feel very, very tired.
Good. And there you can use felt, right? So when I went back to La Paz, I felt really tired.
Okay, felt.
Right? Good, perfect. Okay, and only one glass detail, remember, you wanted to say dura o duró 3 días, right? So how do you say that? You use the verb last, okay? Like last, it's in the chat, okay? And that's regular, so you can say lasted. So you can say something like the festival lasted 3 days. Or if you are giving a general description, you can say this festival lasts 3 days, like in third person, right? So let's repeat those two ideas, please, Leandro. Let's say that idea in past and in present.
Okay. The festival lasted 3 days, and the festival lasts 3 days.
Correct. Exactly. One is with ed if it's past, and one is with s if it's present. Right? Good. Okay, just that. That's great. Now, we're going to remember this lesson, Leandro. Again, this is something that we covered already. So we're going to review, and then we're going to work on a writing exercise to, again, tell something in past to practice the writing skills. Okay, so let's take a look at this, and let's see if you remember. Let's read these two ideas, please, Leandro, and tell me what is the difference between these two examples.
Okay, I was running last night at 8 p.m. I ran last night at 8 p.m. The difference is the word was and the present and the continuous with ing.
Exactly, right? So the first one is past continuous and the second one is simple past, right? And in terms of the meaning, when do you say I was running last night at 8 p.m.? And when do you say I ran last night at 8 p.m.? What do you say? When is one the best option? When do you use the first one? When do you use the second?
Um, um, but, I don't know. I think is the no, I don't know, but I I know the translate, but I don't know
Good. Let's try
when
to
used.
understand because good.
Mhm.
And you know this one because we practiced and you know how to use it. But this is just for remembering and to make better decisions. So right for when to choose which one. So for example, if I ask you this, Leandro, which one do you use as a context? Okay, as the context of your story. I was running or I ran.
I was running.
I was running, right? Good. So
Mhm.
if you want to talk about context, something that was happening, and in the middle, many things can happen, right? You
Okay.
use the past continuous, right? But when do you use the simple past? When you only want to put emphasis on a definite finished action, right? Yesterday, I ran, I visited my parents, I bought some groceries, right? And so on and so forth. So that's not context, right? I'm giving you a list of specific things that I did, but the past continuous is context, right? So let's try to apply this actually to your experience, Leandro. What is something that you were doing in that festival when something else happened? Right? So the context is something that you were doing, and in the middle, some things happened. Okay, you can tell me one or two things if you want that happened. What do you say?
Um. Okay. Um. Me and my friends, or my friends and me. I don't know.
In
Yep.
that one, if it's going to be the subject instead of me, you're going to say I, and you're going to be at the end, right? So it's going to be my friends and I.
Okay. Okay. My friends and I. Um. Um. My friends and I was going to the festival, and my friend forgot his pass. He,
Okay, good. Only one detail instead of actually because it's not that he forgot at that moment, right? But you can say él se dio cuenta que se olvidó su entrada, right? Or su pase.
Mhm.
How do you say that?
Yes.
How do you say se dio cuenta que se olvidó?
Okay. My friends and I was going to the festival, and my friend um get noticed. I don't know.
Okay, that's an alternative. Yes, it's very formal. It's good, but it's too formal. It's better if you say realized. Realized.
Realized. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Realized that he forgot his pass.
Exactly. Good. His pass, his ticket, or anything
Mhm.
that works like that. Good. Okay, then that's perfect. Only one correction. Remember, if it's my friends and I, it's plural. It's like we, right? So we
We
say we was or we say we were.
uh, we we was right.
No, in
We
this
we
case,
were.
exactly. Where is
Okay.
going to be with plural. Okay,
Okay.
and was is going to be with singular. All right. So
Okay.
I, he, she, it was. We, you, they were. All
Okay.
right, good. So perfect. So it's going to be something like we were going to right the festival or to the concert, or my friends and I were going to the festival to the concert when suddenly you can say right de repente suddenly my friend realized that he forgot his pass or his ticket. Okay, good. Okay, that's an example, and that's how you use then the past continuous and the simple past. So now try to explain that in your own words one more time then, Leandro. When do you use the simple past, or sorry, the past continuous, and when do you use the simple past? How can you explain now that?
Okay. The past continuous, we use the past continuous when we need a put in context. Yeah, it's like a context, the context and the things where happened, was happened. I don't know.
Sorry,
Yes.
you can say the things that were happening, or yes, were happening, because things is plural,
Okay.
so were happening.
Okay. Things were happening, and the past past perfect.
This one in this case is going to be the simple past.
A simple past, yes. Sorry. And the simple past is for tell or speak um about one moment or one action.
Exactly. So good. Again, I'm asking you with the name, but you don't have to memorize, right? Past continuous or simple past, just here to have the communication. But you can say, right, when do you say I was running, when you want to give context? When do you say I ran, when you want to mention something that happened and finished? Right? Very simple. When do you
Okay.
say I studied? You say I studied psychology when you want to mention one thing that you did in the past, right? And that's it. But you can say I was studying for my test if that is the context of your idea, right? So it's going to be very simple as that. So we don't need to memorize the tenses, but it's important to understand the differences. So to continue, please, Leandro, let's read this definition about the past continuous.
Okay. We sorry. Use the past continuous to describe an ongoing action that was happening during a specific time in the past. The action started before the time that was mentioned, and will be finished after some time.
Very good, perfect. Only one detail, very few and very little detail. Actually, very little. That's the word. If this is was correct, right? It started because of the T, but remember that mentioned, right? It doesn't have a T, so it's not going to be mentioned. Instead of that, just mentioned. Mentioned. Let's repeat this
Mentioned.
word, please.
Okay, mentioned.
Exactly. Good. That's perfect. It's better that we get used to that, and then we don't have any problems. So as you can see here, was is going to be with I, he, she, it, right? And where is going to be with we, you, they. All right. That's very
Okay.
important to remember. Very, very important. Now, let's read about the simple past, please.
Okay, use the simple past to talk about a finished, specific, and definite action. The focus of this tense is the conclusion of the activity. You can also use this tense to talk about interrupting events that are very punctual.
Very good. So again, right, this is for definite, finished, and specific actions. All right, we're only going to repeat one word, please. This one. Remember that the U is going to be in many cases eu or a. This is going to be more like a, like punctual,
Okay,
punctual,
punctual.
punctual. Okay, good. Now let's continue, and we're going to directly practice, but we're going to read some examples. Here it says, I was studying for my exam when you called me. So what is the first action here, and what is the second action that happened? And you can understand, right? Like the context and the thing that happened.
Mm-hmm. The context is he was studying. Yes, he was studying, and the thing that happened is that his friend called him.
Okay, good, very good. So if you say that, in other words, what was then the first action and what was then the second action in this example?
The first action is studying, and the second is the call.
Exactly, right? So the context is always going to be the first action because it's the context of everything, right? And the definite action is the second action that happens. So we know that one, we know the answers for that. Now, here, these are some ways. Now, here, I'm going to ask you also for some speaking examples, Leandro, and then we go to the writing practice. So, when, look, you have the tenses that you have to use. With when, you use past continuous plus when plus simple past, or it can be remember yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
When, this is a time clause, simple past, then you use the comma, that's important, and past continuous. Okay, so let's start, please. What example can you give me? Just one example, first using this formula. What do you say? What example could you give me? Remember that the simple past has to be something very specific, very definite that happened, right?
Okay.
Something that cannot be long. It cannot be long. It has to be specific and punctual, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you
Okay.
say?
I was studying in my notebook when um, the lights uh, turned up, turned off. Sorry.
Good. Yes. And when you say, I want to see if that's the best expression, right? Because I understand when something turns off, but what do you want to say? Like, se apagaron las luces, or you want to say que la luz se cortó?
Que la luz se cortó.
All right. So instead of that one, because turn off is just like do it on purpose. All right.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to say that the lights are not working, you can say when the lights went out or went off. All right,
Okay.
that's going to be better in that case. So good, that's one. One more, but now with this order. When, simple past, comma, past continuous.
Okay. When I um when I um when I finished my homework, um my mom was cooking the dinner, was cooking
Okay.
dinner.
Yes, correct. It's good because it's something that happened at the moment someone else was doing something else, right? So yes, when I
Mhm.
finished my homework, comma, my mom, right, was cooking, preparing, making dinner. All of those are correct. Right? Good. Now, let's do something. While. With while, if you remember, you can talk about two things that were happening at the same time. Okay, that's what we're going to do. So we're going to use past continuous plus while plus past continuous, right? And here the same. While plus past continuous, sorry, comma, past continuous one more time. So it will be something like, I was playing video games while you were talking with your friend, right? Or the opposite, while you were talking to your friend, comma, I was playing some video games. All right, so let's do it, please. First, once again, Leandro, the first formula. What example can you give me with two past continuous with while?
Mm, um, okay. Um, when I was um, when I was running to to when I was running to get in my class. I don't know how to say llegar.
Yes, yes, you can actually. When I was running to, yes, to get to my class, or when I was running, or when I was heading my class, you can also say, when you say heading my class, it means that you want to arrive over there. Okay, heading,
Okay.
like head. I'm going to write that in the chat. That's a good alternative. Sorry, heading. Okay, when I was heading my class, all right. But remember here, okay, just one thing, you can say that, but let's not use when. Instead of when, let's only use past continuous plus while plus past continuous. So you can say, I was, right, heading
Okay.
my class while what was happening at the same time.
Oh, okay. I was heading to my class. It's
Okay.
correct?
Yes, and it's better if you say directly also heading my class.
Okay.
Directly there.
And I was heading my class while my teacher um, my teacher was closing the doors.
All right, yes, it is valid that those things were happening at the same time, right? You were about to get into the classroom, right? And the teacher was about to close the doors, right? So you can also use those expressions to say that those actions didn't happen but were about to happen. Right, so good, that's one. Now, one more time, please, or another idea. Now you can say while, past continuous, comma, and past continuous. So what do you say? What extra idea can you give?
Okay. While I was um, while I was seeing the concert, um, my friend was sleeping.
Yes, it is valid. It can be in the same place in different places, right? But those actions were happening at the same time, right? While I was seeing the concert, my friends were sleeping. Good. Okay, so that's it. Now, let's do the following, please, Leandro. I know that you can handle this very well, and I can see it. It's something that we already learned. So with this, actually, I'm going to leave it there. And first, let me share the link, actually. We're going to go, please, to write in, let's see the time. Yes, we're going to have the time. It's going to be one paragraph, but it's going to be a more complete paragraph. All right, I'm going to tell you the instructions in a second. So the link is in the chat. You go one more time there. Now, please, you can go to a unit 2. All right, so you can write the example over here in unit 2. Now, over there, again, the ideas or the instructions are going to be related to the following, right? You have to write one paragraph. Okay, that's the first thing. The minimum, all right, in terms of number of ideas, it is going to be, in this case, 7 complete ideas. All right, it means that in that paragraph, you need a minimum of 7 complete ideas, all right? And you need to use also, besides the 7 complete ideas, at least 2, okay? Only 2 of these clauses. Here, you're talking about clauses in past, okay? So you have to use at least 2 clauses, all right, in past. You know, one can be, if you want, with when and while. All right, those are the minimum things that you require. And also, I'm not going to show you here one more time, but you have to use transition words. All right, or phrases. I'm going to give you some examples, right? Remember that it can be first, right? It can be additionally, all right? It can be however, well, this is not a transition word, but and connectors, all right? So besides that, it can also be and, but, and so on, all right, etc. So that's it. That's the instruction in general, then, Leandro. Okay, so one paragraph, 7 complete ideas, at least 2 clauses in past with when and while, and you have to use these transitional words to make the paragraph very well connected. All right, and the idea of the paragraph is that you have to tell me something in past, like you did, all right, with the festival. You
Mhm.
can tell me a similar experience, but following these requirements. So I don't know if you have any questions before starting, Leandro. Let me know, please.
No, I don't have questions.
All right, so let's try it, please. It has to be a big paragraph, very interesting paragraph with 7 complete ideas. So we're going to have from 6 to 7 minutes. We check. All right. If you
Okay.
finish before, you let me know. Good. Let's do it.
I finished.
Good. So we're going to take a look at that and we are going to see how it went. My camera doesn't turn on. All right. So I'm here with you, Leandro. Now let's read please what you got.
Okay. Last weekend I attend a music festival of 3 days or 3 days music festival. I don't know how which is the correct. Okay, I was excited about seeing the artists performing live. Additionally, I was looking for spend time with my friends and my girlfriend. However, on the first day, while I was waiting for the first artist, I realized that my girlfriend forgot her sunglasses. Nevertheless, she decided to enjoy the music. The next day, when I was walking around the festival, I stumbled upon a food truck that served the most delicious food in the place. Finally, on the last day, I was a little tired because I was dancing and singing, but I felt happy after that experience.
Great. Perfect. Thank you very much, Leandro. Great. All right. Again, it's important that you here with me, you can let me know all the questions, right? If you have this structure very clear, which is very good, that's perfect. All right. If some of them perhaps were part of corrections, you can still let me know if you are sure or not of every step that you followed. All right. But I'm going to give you some ideas to see little details because in general, it's very well structured and very well made. All right. Very few things. So for example, this is good to attend a place. Now, here you can say a music festival, right? That lasts 3 days of 3 days, or there's an adjective, okay, and this is a rule. When you want to mix a number plus a time reference, you can use the number, you can set a dash, and you can say the measurement, but only in singular. All right,
Okay.
and this is going to be considered a compound adjective. All right, and it's going to be a 3-day music festival. Or if you want to say, for example, this, un hombre de 25 años. So you can say a 25-year-old man. Okay, so you're not going to say years, you're going to say year in singular. Okay, so this is
Okay.
a possibility. All right, I'm telling you that as a possibility. So this, I'm going to leave this in parentheses. Okay, 3 days, but I'm going to delete this other one because 3 days music festival, that's going to be incorrect.
Okay.
All right, so a 3-day music festival or that lasts 3 days. Good. Now, if you realize this is one idea that finishes there because you don't need another idea, it's complete. So it means that here we cannot use comma, you can use directly semicolon or period. All right. Then I was excited about seeing, all right, the artist perform. In Spanish, right, you say like that, right, en vivo, but in English, only live. That's enough.
Okay.
Live. Directly the verb, okay, perform live. Additionally, I was looking for, remember the rule, after all prepositions, you have to use what? You have to use gerund, right?
Okay.
So where do you need to put the gerund then here?
Is in a spend?
Okay, good. So if you say that, yes, because look for is to search, right? But when you are searching, like literally searching for something, so I'm going to make that correction here, but I'm going to give you one more option. All right. I was looking for spending time. Now look, it's correct. But look for is like, again, to search something literally. But here, you want to say I was looking for spending time. This is a desire that you have. Okay, so it's not like a real search, it's like a desire. And instead of using that, Leandro, you're going to say, I was looking, if you remember this phrasal verb, forward to spending. Okay, it
Okay.
means that you were really wanting to do that. Okay, you were looking for that encounter, but with desire. All right,
Okay. Mhm.
so good. Then I was looking forward to spending time with my friends and my girlfriend. Perfect. Then I think everything else is good. Now, here, however, on the first day, while I know this is also good because you have a while. While I was waiting for the first artist, I realized that, correct. Nevertheless, she decided, period. Yes, those are, I believe, going to be my only corrections because everything else is following the correct punctuation, which is very, very good. Also with but, comma. So good. That's it. Again, this is very well done, but I want to be sure that you understand all the little details that you wrote and my corrections. I don't know if you have any questions about what you did and about the corrections that I showed you, Leandro. Let me know, please.
And no, I don't have questions.
All right, very good. So again, it was pretty good. It means that you feel comfortable with past. That is great because this can be a little bit difficult. Again, it's just trying to like get and expand the vocabulary that we have little by little. But I think we're doing that, and that's great. So we're finishing then this lesson because the other parts, all right, it's like something extra. I want to know if you have any questions about this. Let me know, please.
And no, I don't have questions.
All right, so we're going to spend just some more minutes, very few minutes, in having the introduction for the next part. Okay, reported speech imperatives. So when you read this, try to understand the words separately if you want, Leandro. So what is reported, what is a speech, and what is imperative? How can you explain those words?
Mm, and the reported is like when you make a report or you, I don't know, tell to someone that something happened, but I don't know.
Good. That is
Uh,
good. That's a great explanation, actually. Good. That's report, right?
okay.
Now, what is a speech?
A speech is talk in public or not talk in public, but yes, talk in in public and say some words. I don't know.
Yes, it is correct. It can be more general, right? Not always in public, right? Remember, instead of like a public, but a anytime you say something, that's your speech. Okay, it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be in public, but of course, it's going to be directed towards one person, right? But it's also
Okay.
good speech. And what about imperative? What is imperative?
Imperative is the way the way that we I don't know how to say that, but make obligate. I don't know. Say something to to the other person do, but I I don't know.
Yes, just one correction in the last part. It is correct. You can say to say something for the other person to do. Okay, for the other person to do.
For the
So
other
good.
person to.
Exactly. So it's to order, right? To give orders, to give instructions, right? To again make a person, you can also use this explanation to make a person do something for you or do something, right? In general. So good. Now, it means that we are going to report, we are going to say when someone gives imperative, all right, ideas, orders. So, how can you give an order in English, Leandro? How do you give orders, instructions in English?
Um, like do something or just with do or make or just something like that. like do your homework.
Right. Yes, that's perfect. It means then that we use what? We have to use the base form of the verb, right? In affirmative order. So do your homework. That's one. Try to give me, please, three more. What instructions can you give in general in your life, Eleandro? Imagine that you give instructions. What instructions do you give or can you give?
Okay. Stop playing. No, stop play. Or
No, it's okay. Stop playing. Stop playing. You have two options there, and the meaning is different. Stop playing means don't play anymore, and stop to play means stop what you're doing and play now. All
okay.
right. So in this case, you
Mhm.
want to say stop playing.
Okay, stop playing and um, cook something,
Good.
please. Um,
Very good. Because orders can also be polite. And you can say please because you can give orders to people that don't have to obey you, right? But you ask as a favor something. So good. That's the second one. One more, please. We need one more.
mm, but I don't know. Please be on time, or I don't
Yes,
know.
it's perfect because the base form of be is be, right? And on time, that's the best options. Yes. So stop playing, right? Cook something, please, and please be on time. That's perfect. Now, how do you change those three, Leandro, into negative? What is the negative form of those orders?
Um, don't stop playing.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Don't cook something.
There you have to change only one thing. Something is going to be in affirmative, but what do you use for negative? Instead of
Um,
something,
ah, uh, don't cook anything.
anything. Yes, that's a
Anything.
better option. Correct. And the last one, please.
Um, please don't be on time.
Good. Very good. Now, to finish today, all right? Imagine that I say that, okay? I'm Luis, and I say, please be on time, okay? Or just be on time, all right? Be on time. Now,
Mhm,
how can you, Leandro, how can you report my speech? How can you tell your friend? Imagine that here you have a partner, that is
mhm.
your partner of this class. How do you tell your partner what I said? That's reported as speech. How you do it? How can you
Okay.
say it?
Luis say um, that uh, Luis says or say.
It depends. If it's like recent, or if you feel
Mhm.
that it's a general idea, you can say in present says. But to practice here, the changes, you can say that in past said. Said
Sets.
or told me, you can also say.
Okay. Luis told me and that we need be on time.
Good. That's one alternative. It is correct. And that is what we call indirect speech. Okay. Why indirect speech? Because you are not using the exact words that I said. All right. And actually, also because you're making some changes. Now, we have to do this here, but you have to keep the idea of imperative. And you have to try to use the same words. You can only make one change. What do you say? What is the small change that you can make? You have to add something. You have to add only one word to keep the exact words. What do you think that you have to add? So the first part is good. Luis told me. Now, instead of that, you need to use the order plus one word before the order. What do you think that is? How could it be?
Luis told me be on time. Please, I don't know.
It is good. It's close. Now, if you have that, Luis told me be on time is good, but that's direct speech. Because with that, you need comma and quotation marks. Okay, but if you don't want to use quotation marks and to work indirect or reported speech, you are going to use infinitive instead of the base verb, right? So what is the infinitive of be? What do you say?
The infinitive of be, to be.
To be, exactly. So let's do the same, please. That's the only change.
Okay, Luis told me to be on time.
Exactly. All right, that's the only change. So in that way, you can report the speech for imperatives. Okay, let's do the same for the other ones. If I say stop playing, what is the reported speech for that
Stop playing. Luis told me to stop playing.
one? Good, very good. Now let's see if you remember the negative of the infinitive. What if I say don't, okay, what could it be? All right. Okay, don't be late. Okay, don't be late. What is the reported speech of that one?
Don't be late. Luis told me to don't be late.
Close. Remember, don't is going to be imperative, but we cannot use don't for infinitive, right? So first, let's think of the infinitive. The infinitive of be is to be, right? And what is the negative infinitive? Is not to be.
Okay.
All right, not to be. So one more
Not
time, please. What is the reported of don't be late?
Okay. Luis told me not to be late.
Correct. Good. Again, it sounds weird, but it's correct. All right.
Okay.
If you say to and don't, is incorrect. All right. If you make other changes, it's a possibility. It's good, but it's not reported speech. All right.
Okay.
To make it reported speech for imperative, you have to use infinitive, affirmative infinitive, to go, to be, to take, or negative infinitive, not to be, not to take, not to start, and so on. Okay, so that is the introduction. And actually, the lesson is very, very short, but we're going to cover that lesson along with the last one on Monday. All right, today we're finishing here. Remember, please, then one more time, because I was assigning as I was asking you the questions. Remember that until today, you have to complete the first unit, and you're going to have until a Monday. Okay, you have this weekend and Monday to complete the second unit. All right, and on Tuesday we start the next one. So I don't know if you have any questions to finish actually today's class, Leandro.
No, I don't have questions.
All right. As always, please, you have the daily survey over there. Let's complete that out. And that's it for today. Thanks again for being here. Have a good night. Have a nice weekend as well, and see you on Monday.
Have a nice weekend. See you on Monday. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.